All right, welcome to the first episode of Smokerside Chat at
Thank
Wright's
you.
Barbecue.
Glad to be here.
Hakuna Matata.
Absolutely. That's what it looks like.
It means no worries.
That's right.
What does no worries mean to you?
It's a hard concept to get behind almost, because if you're not worrying a little bit, then you might not have everything together.
But for the rest of your days.
That's right.
It's a problem-free philosophy.
Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata.
That's right. What year was that?
1995, I think.
Year I was born.
What does it feel like to be the
Same age?
The same age as the Lion King?
It feels age appropriate, I guess.
So how does it feel to be the only child owner of a barbecue restaurant?
It's a solitary lifestyle when you're one of one.
Only few children have gone where you've gone so far.
Only a few children have drank the amount of black coffee and stoked the fires.
You were talking about, so where'd your love for coffee come from?
Duck hunting as a kid with lots of sugar, lots of creamer. You know, it was the whole 2 parts creamer, half part sugar, half part coffee. And then just over the years, and funny enough, I used to see my uncle, he's passed away now, but I used to see him and my grandmother drink black coffee.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought it was just the nastiest thing ever.
There's something magical about black
There's something
coffee.
magical. I mean, now, so my sophomore year in college is the last time I put any sweetener in coffee.
And that was last year?
Well, year and a quarter. Give me a year and a quarter. But to be real, it was actually, I guess, 2015. So here we are, almost 10 years in. I have not put, outside of the vacation latte, I'm a straight black coffee, pretty much straight bourbon. I do like an old fashioned very well, but if it's
What do you like most about an old fashioned?
well, I don't like it to be too sweet. I like balance. So there's a lot of things to like and not to like about it, really. What I like in a good old fashioned, the balance when it is, the little bit of zest of orange.
You like them to rub the orange around the glass?
It's never
The
hurt.
essence.
Yeah, the essence. It's never
I
hurt.
like the essence of the orange more than the orange itself.
Right. And even at Heim the other day, she took a little, not cigarette lighter, but like candle lighter, and burnt the edge of it.
Burnt the
And
orange.
then, yeah, a little burnt orange action.
Travis?
It wasn't Travis. Travis,
Emma?
not Emma. It was a lady that had just moved here 6 months ago from California.
Moved here.
Well, moved to Fort Worth. Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. Different than here.
So we're now in Arkansas.
Right.
So Blake's
It's
a little
different.
confused
It's different.
on
It's
this
different.
evening due to his stint in Texas. So tell me about Texas. What'd you do?
Ate barbecue, drank bourbon, ate some pizza, ate some subpar pizza, ate some.
All right, rattle off all the barbecue joints you hit up this week. How many days were you there?
4.5,
Okay, how many barbecue meals did you eat?
5.
That's not terrible.
Right. I used to
So
go.
you diversified a little bit.
Oh, for sure. It's barbecue for lunch, and then pizza, sushi, Mexican, ramen. You know, some real good ramen Tatsuya in Austin. So whenever I first started going, I guess 8 years ago this week, it was barbecue, and I figured out like, okay, 2 days into this, I'm not having fun anymore. So I started mixing in side dishes.
Added
And
some non-proteins.
and some pickles and some onions and such, and then eating sushi and stuff of the like at nighttime. And I realized, okay, I can do this. One barbecue meal a day. I can do that 5 or 6 days in a row.
We do that every day
Right.
here.
Right. So
How many days a week do you eat barbecue at your restaurant?
not as often as I should.
You eat every day?
No.
Like snack?
Nope.
You don't snack every day?
Not barbecue.
Can you? I can tell.
Well,
Like I snack daily.
I made up. You saw me eat gumbo tonight, baby.
You did. You stepped into it, but you can tell when you look at like me that I come in
Snacker.
and I eat,
Right.
and I make sure I eat. So
One wouldn't know it, but you are.
I'm reducing.
You're on the right thing with. I do need to be better about it, but you have to admit that whenever you're around as much as we are, looking, feeling, smelling, all the other
But
senses.
you gotta eat it. I mean, you gotta
you're all right.
take that bite, even if you spit it out in like the old taste tester ways. Like when
Wine
I was at
tasting.
Tyson, when I was Tyson, we did our R&D department, and we would cut all these pizza toppings, and so we'd make 6 pizzas with 6 different versions of the same sausage,
Huh.
just with different protein ratio, fat ratio, different amounts of soy protein to pork and fat and beef and etc.
Wow.
Turkey, and then you'd go eat them all, and you'd have to give your feedback, and you'd be sitting there, looking at a Domino's topping, and be like, okay, is this better? Is it worse? Is it drier? Is it more moist? Does it fit their specs? And so you have to eat like 8 pieces of pizza or 8 bites.
Right.
For me, it was 8 pieces, but you
That's how it goes.
learn like, hey, the real professional R&D guys, they've got a cup and they're taking a bite, getting all they need to know about mouthfeel, texture, flavor, and moisture, etc., and then they spit it out because they can't eat that much.
Right.
When you're testing, 7 different recipes a day that you've been working on, you just can't eat it all.
You are right about
You
it.
can, but then you don't have to pay for food, but then you're also just eating a bunch of pizza.
True.
Or chicken tenders. So it's not like the worst job. I mean, like, if I were going to be reincarnated, it would be an R&D chef at Tyson.
Mine would be a chicken tender taster for sure.
I thought you were going to say mine would be a chicken tender.
Or I
well,
could be
that's
a
not a
chicken
bad
tender,
life.
too.
Very quick.
That as well. Yeah.
Hey, bye, Nada. Yep, see you.
Yeah. No, you're right though. But no, I've eaten more barbecue in the last 5 days than I had eaten in the last.
So
calendar
what
year.
5 joints do you go to?
Terry Black's actually on Sunday night whenever we got into Dallas, just because it was my buddy's
Terry
first.
Black's open all day,
Right.
7 days a week.
Right.
How was the brisket? How was everything? Was it killer? Everything was on point?
It was good, not killer. I mean, it didn't blow me away, but after having it's
But for
pretty
what they
hard to-
do, it's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, and it was solid, and it was actually out of the 4 or so times I've eaten at Terry Black's, it was least impressive. But it was 8:45, 9 o'clock at night. They were ready to get out. This was New Year's Eve night.
Hear that, Mark Black? They were ready to get out of there.
Actually, the bartender was. She was pretty. She was tough.
She was there.
But,
She was excited to be there.
No, not quite.
They love their job.
Yes, but Terry Black's, Hurtado on Monday for lunch. Awesome.
Did you see Brandon?
He was in Oklahoma.
What was he doing there?
He was in Broken Bow, just getting away, I think.
Oh, he's probably at
Game?
Hochatown.
Is that a game win?
He's probably at
Situation?
Hochatown.
Is that a game win thing?
Can you say Hochatown?
Hoka.
Hochatown.
I can't put the.
I think that's the right pronunciation.
Can't put the-
There's a place in Broken Bow or north of Broken Bow as you're going down from Arkansas through the Washitas, and then you go down into Hochatown, and there's a lake. There's all these random like game halls and like mazes
Wow.
and unbelievable restaurants, bars, saloons. Like it feels like you're driving through a different. It's like going through Branson in the middle of Oklahoma.
Huh.
Except better. It's like different. It's more unique. It's like driving through Silver Dollar City
Yeah.
as like a city.
Wow.
Hochatown.
Never heard of it. I didn't get the details from him.
Hochatown should buy an ad for this show.
Sounds like it.
Hochatown.
Sponsorships.
We said it like 12 times. So
You said it very well. I don't think I can pull it off.
but yeah, it's a good town. So he was there just chilling.
Think so.
I'm gonna ask him what he did in Hochatown.
You're probably right
I
on
bet he
board.
went to the lake.
Okay.
He probably
Seems
didn't get in
reasonable.
the lake.
I hope not.
Probably did a cold man challenge.
I
You
couldn't
big on
do it.
that?
No,
Ice-
no,
ice
no,
bath?
No. I like hot bath.
Have you ever done the ice challenge?
No.
You never done a cold plunge?
I don't have a whole lot of desire. I don't like
Have
being
you heard
cold.
of the benefits of the cold plunge?
I know it's supposed to like help your help, I guess, in a lot of ways. Probably tension, probably soreness.
Oh,
cramps.
it's like being in ice.
I don't like icy situations. I like
You like sitting by smokers.
I like sitting by smokers.
What's your favorite thing about smoking meat?
I don't know. The full deal, I guess. But I mean, I guess working a fire or seeing a fire running correctly, clean, warm.
No,
Warm if you're cold, but not warm if you're hot.
I feel really good.
Oh, yes,
It's an amazing Sonny Moberg Smokers. Kuna Matata is our first cooker.
Really,
Yep, number one of 17.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's a
we
milestone.
need to get them like like a kind of like build like a model, like model smokers and sell them
True
like
that.
toys.
True that.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, like a
Well, you should build each one. Each one you have
sports
like
cards.
Yeah, but like build it like a little trophy, you know, like a little, like
a
a toy
NASCAR.
smoker.
What do you call those? Like an old Dale Earnhardt little mini car.
Yeah, or like a easy bake oven, but like for
Exactly.
smokers.
Yeah. Oh, you want to be functional.
Yeah,
Oh,
like I mean, you know, they made the little mini smoker.
Eminem made the
He
little.
made the little mini
yeah.
one, but that's a little expensive.
Yeah.
You need to find like a Mattel or someone that could like craft a smoker with a little metal firebox where you could literally smoke, you know, like a little chicken breast, like one chicken breast.
It's still a good size.
I think a kid would
How
buy
big are you
it.
talking? Like the size of.
Like the size of that Yeti, a little bigger, like but just a
Yeah.
little bigger, like just the size of a chicken breast plus some space,
Right.
and then sell little mini sticks to build.
There's.
And then you could have each like you could buy Franklin sticks, you could buy Blake's of Southern Milling little fire sticks. Like this is our little
That's where
fire
the money's
twigs,
at.
and then we'll just start spending resources like breaking off our wood, and then we'll like send this in a package with it.
Exactly.
We'll be like, this is how you start your fire.
That's the.
If you want to know
upsell.
how we start a fire, it's this.
It actually tends to be something like
It's
that.
a lot of this.
Honestly.
It's a lot of this and a lot of
the
that and a
best.
lot of hatchet. Do y'all guys have a hatchet?
I grew up with not grew up with, but I'll put it this way. From 2015, when I first got smokers built and started cooking, until 2022, I had for a couple years an electric wood splitter, but this guy had only ever used a daggum hatchet to split every piece of wood.
Like a
that ever
hand
cooked.
hatchet?
Yeah, straight up.
What a savage.
I was savage. Then I took it from the trailer to the new location. We haven't had any trouble in the last 2 years with stuff getting stolen, except that. And I was going to hang it up in the pit room, like as a, not with a
An
plaque,
homage.
but
An homage to the hatchet.
And somebody stole. Then one
Is that your
night,
nickname, Blake the Hatchet Stoker?
could be, should
Hasta la
be,
vista, brother.
should
See,
be,
man.
should be. It's not.
Blake the Hatchet Stoker. It should be. We'll make it. I'm just going to call you you're going to be known
Hatchet.
as the Hatchet.
I'm good with that. I need something more going on in my life. I need something more. But
Hatchet Town instead of Ho Chi Town. We'll start a new
Exactly.
vacation town in Martin.
Martin, build a little Airbnb colony.
I don't think people would go to Hatchet Town. I think they'd be like, this is a bad place.
Scary. Scary stuff is happening in Martin these days. So
Really?
you
Is
have to
it
go.
losing its
A little bit.
cool?
It's not as
Not as cool as it was?
People give Memphis all the flack, but Martin, Memphis, they sound similar.
They do.
Both in Tennessee, West Tennessee. So you never know.
Well, got to keep that under control with good barbecue. Make the people happy. I find that happier communities that have great barbecue places,
Or happier,
tend-
safer.
yeah, they tend to be better places.
Yeah. It should be that way.
I think it is. I mean, like the best. Like I feel like outside of like Austin has its issues, but it's a good city.
Oh, it's a wonderful city.
Austin's a great city.
City.
Houston, good city. A lot of great barbecue places. Johnson, Rogers, Bentonville, Martin, Tennessee, good cities.
Best cities.
Best
Great.
cities. We've got guests from those cities, so they're great cities.
You know, we get St. Louis. How many top tier St. Louis spots are there?
I like one thing in St.
Memphis.
Louis.
Where is it?
I like Pappy's Ribs.
Hadn't had them, but I've heard.
Like Pappy's Ribs, I think it's called Nemo's Pizza. They have this.
Is that the St. Louis style?
That's the St. Louis style. It's like some weird cheese.
Yeah, what's that called? Provel.
Provel.
Yeah.
We didn't even need the guy to call on and look up the type
Exactly.
of Provel cheese.
Oh,
That's the type of
Yeah,
brain
yeah, yeah,
power we have
exactly.
sitting in for us.
I think a lot.
Such a young age, so much knowledge.
I think a lot about pizzas, so I spend most of my time.
Have you ever thought about doing a barbecue pizza?
Not
Don't do
making
a barbecue
one.
pizza.
I wouldn't mind collabing with somebody if they want
Like a pop up.
But honestly, we don't have that. Like I can't think of anybody specific to do it with.
No.
But like if say somebody
Ronnie
came in
was doing
and
it down at Killen's. He was doing a
with
little.
Papa John's.
Did he
was-
really? do it
Yeah,
at
straight up
TJ's?
had it with Papa John's. Oh
Nice. I bet that came with a payday.
yeah.
Papa
That'll work.
John has money.
That'll work more than average.
A lot.
More than the
A
average.
lot of Papa
PJ.
John's money.
I know a
flowing
lot of
around.
PJs and they ain't got that money.
If you have that type of money, you have a PJ.
That's right. Probably.
So
Or a
know
Dairy
that.
Queen. A Dairy Queen at least.
Andy, you out of here?
I gotta start the car up, let it warm up,
Smart guy.
It is.
Yeah, so smoking meats, you like the fire. I like the fire. Like when I'm out by myself cooking, I think more than anything, it's I think the best part of barbecue, cooking process wise, is just the finality of it. It finishes. You're gonna get it done. It may take longer than expected. You may have issues with wood. You may have issues with weather, etc. But like at the end of the day, you finish. You're going to get it done. You're going to pull out the brisket at the right time. Wink, wink. Yeah, so this is oak. This is all local oak. This might be cherry. We brought in, this is cherry. Oh yeah, smell that. Smells like an old fashioned. So that's cherry from a guy who
Actually, I cook a little bit of cherry. Burns hot.
smells amazing.
Burns hot.
So
Smells like a cherry burning.
yeah, and so we got this from a guy who plays baseball, and he also does a bunch of farm stuff and where he lives. And so he was like, man, I got a bunch of dry cherry that's been seasoning for a year, and we were like, yeah, we'll take it. And then the first day we got it, there was like 3 days of rain, and it wasn't covered. It was like, shoot.
Yeah.
It was seasoned,
Right.
but it was wet.
Yeah.
And we're like, we
Wet,
need it
wet.
to be drier.
Actual wet.
But we've got a local relationship with a guy who brings it on pallets, already bundled up
Nice.
in splits, and they stack it. And so our wood game has improved. How's your wood game?
Wood game's strong.
Very nice.
And it needs to be. But
It does.
It took me 7 or 8 wood guys on a real note
How long did that take you to go through?
to get all the way through that, to find a
Go through all those guys.
2015 through, we finally found this guy who is Johnny on the spot. His name's not Johnny, but he is Johnny on the spot.
Don't tell his name. Fear of someone stealing
Exactly.
the wood connect.
Oh, I take a lot of seriousness with him. But he's like, if we were to call at 7 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday and just basically tell him, hey, we're just gonna need somebody Saturday morning, he'll have that crap there in 4 hours.
That's awesome.
Like, he doesn't care what timeline, and he's an hour and a half away. Like, he's really, now, does he bring some that's on the edge of
Our
not being
splits pretty good.
seasoned? Splits are pretty consistent.
These splits
yeah.
are all right. This guy doesn't do a lot of work for us, but he actually did a pretty good job. We don't have too many. I hate big splits.
Right.
They just cause chaos.
I honestly prefer,
Looking at that wood, which split do you prefer? If you were going to choose one stick to burn, you go ahead and grab it, and let's, as a tradition
Yeah, I
of the
know.
Smokerside chat, let's add our first log.
word.
I mean, we've already see you have a decent little fire in here.
Out of everything, I like the size of that. The surface area this way.
Oh, yeah.
Got a little bit of the fray.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love the fray on that if you're trying to get
That's a good fray.
going.
You ever listen to the band, The Fray? Go ahead and
Yeah, I love the fray. How to Save a Life? What was that? What was that TV show? Or what TV show did they used to be like the intro to?
How to Save a Life?
Yeah, it used to be the intro of like some. Oh,
You doubling up. You're
I'm
doubling
just
up.
getting some fray.
The more fray?
A little more fray.
I think it'll be fine. I think you should leave it. Trust it. Believe in the process.
I like that process better.
I'm watching that fray you just put in. It
Yeah,
hasn't done anything.
it will. You got to give it a second.
We're going to watch the video rollback of the fray. Look at that fray. You picked a wet fray.
Yeah,
You picked the one fray that's not burning.
it's
Nothing
gonna,
like the professionals, am I right?
it's gonna die there.
It's going to die an
die
ashy
there.
death in the ash chamber.
How about it?
How about it? Look at that.
I'll be dang.
Hakuna Matata, though. There you go. This is sparking up for
I've
you.
actually never
There you go.
cooked.
Look at that.
I've actually never cooked.
Yeah, it's first time.
That's not even that one. It's some other one I put in.
First time. There you go. Hey, there he goes. Look
Yeah,
at that. It got you going.
had to trust.
There you go. You had to trust. A lot of this stuff is. Everyone always asks like tips and like if we're gonna do like a smoking class, and we're gonna do it at one point. Oh, you cut yourself. That just happened. Oh, we got an injury. Live injury at Smokerside. Let me get a
I
band-aid.
just got. Oh no, I just did what? I just got really dry hands.
Blake the Hatchet Stoker has gotten injured. We're gonna do a little
Oh
repair.
shit.
It's gonna burn. We may have to get in the ice bath here in a little bit. Antiseptic spray, always good to have on hand when you're at a restaurant. Some more fray down there. Let's get this. Oh my gosh, the guy literally has the driest skin I've ever seen. We need to get this guy some ice plunge and some lotion. Stat. Yeah,
Oh my
we
God.
got blood has been shed on the first episode of Smokerside Chat.
Oh my shit.
And I left my drink. Let's see.
Oh, that's funny.
So we're back.
Oh, I'm oblivious to
We're back to the Smokerside Chat. We've got Blake covered in blood. Literally, Talon. Talon, look at this. He's covered in blood, just dripping. Blake the Hatchet
dying.
Stoker is dripping with blood.
I really do. I really do look like I've been like in some sort of like
Like an issue has happened.
medieval battle.
Yeah, it's been a problematic
Oh
start.
man.
But you got the fire going, got the fray. Cost him
Oh.
a finger, but it's fine.
Oh, I feel like Heath Ledger in that old Knight's Tale or whatever.
Well, I think what we were talking about before the injury happened was a lot of barbecue is trusting what you know, trusting how it's been done. But I think a lot of people get confused, especially with the new way people are doing it. And like the way that I believe both of us view it is constantly seeking to be the best we can possibly be. And I think if there's one thing that defines the current state of elite barbecue in the country, it's that everyone we know who you would say, hey, these are the guys I would send anybody in the world to have a great barbecue meal, service-wise, hospitality, food, etc. Those guys, and I'm one of them. I know you are, and it's like we just thirst for being the best we can be, like always. And if there's a new process, a new method, something we hadn't thought about, when we're talking to our buddies and we're listening and learning, it's just a constant evolution from day one 7 years ago in the food truck to today. Things are so much different. What's changed the most for you from 7 years ago to today, cooking process wise?
At a base level, wrapping in wool versus paper. I did paper for 6 years leading up to the restaurant, and once we bumped up volume and changed from cooking on strictly 500 gallons to 1,000 gallons, I'll tell you what, I was talking to you the morning, I guess opening morning or the first day, I think it was the day we had our first loads of briskets and butts going for opening day. And we had like 24 briskets on 1,000 gallon. And I said to my pit gal, Livy, like, hey, I know we've never done this, but we got 24, 25 on whatever it was. Let's wrap 3 of them in. Let's wrap 3 in 3 different spots in full.
Yep.
And if they suck, then we'll use them as chopped at the end of the day or not use them. They'll be our last resort. And if we figure out something cool, then we do. And I had one towards the front, one middle back, away from the doors, and one in the back corner. And all 3 of those got done like 3 hours before the other ones. And I served them, 3 different times throughout the day, and they were the best briskets of the day.
Nice.
So I'm like, well, why are we going to fool with the potential of, if we're going to get the same product in 8.5 to 10 hours instead of fooling around with 14 to 17 hour briskets and have a little bit more of a cushion is what I call it.
Yeah.
Why are we screwing with paper anymore? Now, there's pros and cons. Bark's a little mushier, lots of stuff, but whenever it's the product, the internal product I want, and we played with seasoning, backed off a little bit on a certain measure of pepper and all that to adjust, but that's a big adjustment. See,
Segment 2, sponsored by Blanton's. Finest bourbon in the world comes from a single barrel. Blanton's, the original single barrel bourbon whiskey. They make this in Louisville.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's at the Buffalo Trace Distillery.
What do you think about Louisville, the town, the city of Louisville?
Oh no, they make this near Lexington.
Is it?
It's at Buffalo Trace, so
What's
it's
the name
not
of the town? Oh, Frankfurt.
It's in Frankfurt.
Yeah, that's the capital.
Kentucky.
Ain't
Is
it?
that right?
That's what it says. I thought it was like Bardstown or whatever.
Hold on, where is it from?
It says Frankfurt.
Where is it? Okay, yeah, Frankfurt, Kentucky. So I went there. So I was in Lexington. That's right. I was in Lexington when I went to Buffalo Trace Distillery the first time. Beautiful facility. No clue why one floor makes Pappy and the other floor makes Blanton's, but
What else?
who knows?
What else?
Only Granddaddy Pappy knows.
That's right.
But which we had a
He's
little
like-
earlier. Cheers
Exactly.
to that.
He's like 23 years old now.
He's 23.
Yeah, baby.
He's just a little bit older than you.
Yeah, a little bit younger. 6 months. Got about 6 months.
Oh my gosh.
Look how the fray is really.
Yeah.
Look how we're drafting and
I think
everything.
we're getting good pool now.
Yeah.
These do get
The
really
briskets are
good.
probably close to ready to pull.
There's none on this.
I
This
know,
is just
I'm
for
playing.
show.
Right.
We don't do anything on this one anymore. No, I'm just kidding. This
Yeah.
one gets used a lot. We do have a few more briskets on Just Keep Swimming.
Yeah. Nemo.
But yeah, no, I mean, on the whole, innovation side, I think where it's hard for me is like, it's hard to settle in and not continue to tinker. And so there's times I've had to learn over the last probably 3 years, really since COVID. Like COVID year, we were just, I don't think I thought anything about changing anything back here. It was just, we're
Trying to make
cooking,
it.
we're churning, we're making great product. People were here. We changed to a drive-through.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember watching those videos.
And it was nuts. It was wild. I mean, there was like Chick-fil-A. It was like, I think one time I had 46 cars in line.
Gee.
And they were all like, they all had online orders or they were getting in line. And so we all ran them through the same line because that's all we had. We had one window. But it was nice to have pre-orders because we kind of knew like what the plan.
Right.
And then when those orders fired off, we knew they were coming. We go ahead and make them just like we do now for the to-goes. Well, these people would pull up behind 20 cars and be like, I have a pre-order. It's my turn. And you're like, so do the 20 cars in front of you.
Right.
And it was like no one understood how mobile ordering even worked. Chick-fil-A
Yeah.
was just launching it, and it was a disaster back then. You'd
Yeah.
show up to Chick-fil-A, and you'd be, at a stall, and you'd be like, I'm here. And then it would take forever, and so then you started getting the hack
Yeah.
of like, I'm here when I'm not there, and then pull in, just so like they're walking out with the food.
Right.
A little Chick-fil-A mobile order hack for you. Now they're throwing everybody in the drive-thru just like we did. So they learned that method is just as effective
Yeah.
to drive that to-go deal. But it was insane how mad people got till I'd be like, no, I had an order and it's supposed to be at 7:45. And they're like, we have 15 other 7:45s. Like, that's what's going on.
Join the club. Really.
Yeah, join the club, jump in and enjoy, be glad we're open. But so we did that for a little bit. So during that phase, once we got out of COVID, it was like, all right, we're back traveling and back going to Windy City Smokeout. And that was probably like 21. When I went to Windy City Smokeout with Evan from Leroy and Lewis, I took my 1,000-gallon, we cooked a bunch of belly, and they did bacon burn-ins completely. It was just kind of a different, kind of a hack bacon burn-in method, like long strips, seasoned, and then you just slice them thin, and they're really, really delicious pork belly bites. But they did like an Italian-style pork belly.
Like oregano
with
and
a
stuff?
gardenera. Oh yeah, like Italian seasoning, basil, oregano. It was great, and they did that, and then they had a little giardiniera on it, and it was great. But I learned like that was a different way to do it, right?
Yeah.
And then I saw, kind of Leonard doing what he was doing over at the Truth Bay. And
What were they doing?
seeing-
Just like slice of brisket on bread?
slice of brisket. They were doing slice of
Hold
brisket
over.
on bread with some pickles.
Yeah.
And they may have had
Great truth pickles though.
yeah, great truth pickles. They may have had one other item, but I think it was just sliced brisket. But I could be mistaken. But seeing how they pulled, like there was no difference in our trim and our pull, like in the methodology and the thought process behind pulling a great brisket and not making sure it's not overcooked, making sure it's not undercooked, but it's just the right feel.
Rather have over or under. That's
Man,
easy.
I'd rather have a little under.
Really?
Yeah, I'd rather be pulling like on that precipice of where it's like, you know what? I know this is going to finish. I'm going to trust this to finish and to continue on.
Right.
Ride the lightning. I know my moist feels really good. My lean,
Could be.
I don't want it to be very tight at all.
Right.
But I might say, hey, if I've got a section of that lean that's really good and one that's a little tight,
You can find something to do with the part that's tight.
well, and not only
Chopped
that,
or
but we may, if the next day, we may just throw it back on and get it finished.
True.
And so, but I just think you can't go backwards from overcooked.
True that.
And so you
And
can
once you cooked
always let it go ride and finish, live in the warmer, and then the next
That-
day it could be absolutely
that 36
exactly
hour
where
rest.
yeah,
Oh,
well, it could
absolutely.
be actually where you want it.
Exactly.
And so, but I think getting through those years of like getting out to Chicago, seeing these guys, that really like reignited my flame of just like, all right, we know we're on track doing awesome stuff. but like, are we
Figure
the
out a
best we
way.
can possibly be
Right.
in every way? And so it just opens your mind to like be like, okay, there's different processes, different ways. Like we were talking about earlier with your trip, it's like someone may present a great meal, and that's the time you had it, and that's awesome, and it's great. It's memorable for you. It's memorable. It's the best you had at that time. All the sides hit. Like, talk about burnt bean real quick. Like, what'd you think about that?
It was just top to bottom. Everything, I think I told you earlier, it tasted like everything had been being cooked for 16 days with just a depth of thought. You could just taste the thought behind it. Whereas, a lot of meals you can have, they feel perfectly executed, like as good as they could be, but there was an extra layer of what do you call it? Something you can't. There's a term for this. You can't put your finger on it.
Yeah,
Like
some magic in there.
yeah, some magic. Tastes like magic.
Yeah.
And I went in with really high expectations because I'd had it before.
Yeah.
And when I had it that time, I'm like, oh, this is a different level. And then I went in knowing it would be that good, and it's still. That's what got me. Is I went in thinking I'm gonna be fine if it's not, but I'm about to have the best meal I've had since I had this last.
Yeah.
I was giving it that sort of a amount of pressure.
Yeah.
And it blew that away.
That's awesome.
Now, it wasn't just, the brisket was great, but it was the pork steak. Like, there's a knife sitting there. You could take your pinky, and it wasn't over, like it was still juicy as could
perfect,
be.
yeah.
You literally just use your pinky, press down. That rice dish I told you about earlier, it was like a Czech, German, wasn't chock full of crazy flavors. It just had a depth of flavor like your
Yeah.
rice did earlier with the gumbo. Very reminiscent of your gumbo. That meal was reminiscent of the feeling your gumbo gave me. Like, this is not just done at the local mom and pop where
Yeah.
they like are just trying to make a cost efficient. That meal did not feel cost efficient.
Yeah.
It felt like, somebody's put way too much thought, time, and labor
Yeah.
into this. How is this making
No
money?
doubt. I mean, it's really impressive to see what Ernest has built there. And what's the other guy's name?
David.
I mean, they built an incredible business in a short amount of time. And it's like one of those places that I feel like right now across the country, most people are like, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, everyone was trying to get to Franklin, and that was what everyone was trying to get down to. And then, for a brief period of time, it was Interstellar, and I still really want to go to Interstellar. I haven't been there yet.
Really good too.
Great spot. But like right now, it's like if you did a straw poll of most people, Dave Bonner in Chicago, the guys in Atlanta, Fox Brothers, Ronnie, Blue Oak, you say, hey, where do you want to go? Anywhere in Texas, if you were going to pick a spot, I think everyone would be like, burnt bean.
Yeah.
And so that, kudos to Ernest. Cheers to you.
They built that for sure, and they are super focused on
Yeah.
not giving up. That's one deal with them. Like, all they talk about is not even in a pretentious way or like a cocky way. They're just like, we're not gonna quit doing whatever it takes until we have captured
Yeah.
the apex of whatever this can be.
This can be, yeah, which is good. That's what all of
The
us.
mentality.
So how did that change? Like going back into the 24, how did that meal experience change the way you look at operating, the way you look at your recipes, your techniques, your processes, your passion, and like setting a foundation to this year? How's that kind of, obviously you had to drive up here to think about it, but how did that kind of did it change course for you? Was it a I was heading this direction, and now it's like, after eating there and experiencing those flavors, am I kind of veering towards doing what?
Well, definitely, like one of the adjectives I came out of that meal with was perspective changing and thought provoking. So that is what it made me think. Upon eating that, I'm like, that's an adjective that came to my mind. Thought provoking.
Yeah.
Like, not every meal makes you like actually think. So
Yeah.
it certainly was enough to make me think. Like, okay, am I really? Do I have this dog mentality? I mean, I do, but it make you think. Like, do I have the dog mentality that that this requires? So yeah, it definitely is inspirational in like not resting on laurels, which I'm never happy. And just like you, we're never happy. I don't mean happy. Well, of course you're happy, but never satisfied.
Yeah.
There's a way to get better, always. There's a way, and that could be dialing back a little bit on something and pushing forward a little more with something else.
For sure.
Like truth I've had a lot of meals at Truth that made me think, man, I can, I feel like it's close to this back home, but there's something in this. There's something in these Brussels sprouts that are a little bit different. You know?
For sure. And I think that being able to like be open to even spending time with like some culinary partners like in your own town, different chefs, building those connections of even guys like Ernest that is very chef driven. It's like the understanding of flavors and building depths of flavor, like APL out in California. I talked to Cody Sperry, and it's like he's like what I experienced at APL is similar to like what you experienced.
Yeah.
What Cody experienced at APL is similar to what you experienced at Ernest. It's like guys that are literally so focused on building flavors that they're seeing the ball field in a different way. And so I think that's what challenges me, is seeing that and, being like, okay, what in our process can we do to expand our flavor portfolio, make sure when we do deliver a flavor that it is balanced, that we're bringing a great sauce. On the subject of just community real quick before we kind of shut down the Smokerside chat. Excuse me, that was pardon my mistake there. Smokerside chat, episode 1. Again, Hakuna Matata.
Right.
Sponsored by Yeti and Blanton's. Not really, but one day.
Close-ish.
But me and my wife were talking earlier when you called and said, hey, I'm swinging through Northwest Arkansas. And she was like, it's really unbelievable the network and community that the barbecue industry, for the people that actually want community, it's there. If you were on an island running a restaurant like you are in Martin, Tennessee, and no one else is doing what you do there, and you didn't have the connections network that you've built by building relationships across the country like we've got, it's like you would feel very isolated. And it would be very lonely. I mean, that's how I felt the first couple years in the barbecue business. Like I had Evan, and I'd call Evan, but that's like all I had.
Yeah.
And then he brought Patrick Feegis up for a deal. But talk about how important community is to you as a person walking the life of the barbecue man.
I mean, it's been immeasurable to me since the beginning. You got guys like Kevin Kelly, Kevin's Barbecue Joints. And look at the way he's connected everybody over the years, and he's even further isolated away from us. It's been unbelievable to have you. How many mornings have me and you talked on the phone, and me maybe have to at 10:59, me maybe have to be like, hey, I got to go. I got to work the block or whatever. But to be able to have you to bounce stuff off of and take advice from, to be invited to stuff, to get just a happy birthday, a Merry Christmas. Like there's always somebody there. Or in our case, I don't know, we probably got 30 guys that are always just a call or a text away. So I mean, all the way around. Like like you said, without that, I'd be in a totally different world. Yeah. It would not feel the same. It wouldn't be the same, because it's led to customers coming from such and such saying, hey, maybe not Evan specifically, but hey, such and such, somebody from Style Switch. We lived in Austin years ago. We revisited, and somebody, whatever. So it's just the connection has been unreal. And I'll admit, I dove into that, seeing the opportunity for, hey, I can either live here on an island, or I can get connected with some of these guys and have somebody to go eat lunch with whenever I'm in Austin. Have somebody in Northeast Arkansas. What if I get caught in a snowstorm?
Yeah, for sure. No doubt.
So it's been unbelievable. And I've not been in other culinary fields, but from what I understand, it's different in the barbecue industry, and almost specifically the Texas barbecue industry.
Sure.
Now you've got Sam Jones and Rodney and all those that are also Carrie, Pat, APL even, that are connected to us just from being good guys in barbecue.
For sure.
But the Alabama barbecue scene, generally speaking, outside like Chris Lilly, there's a few outliers, but you know, the Montana barbecue scene does not have the same camaraderie.
I think the
We do.
biggest thing is like there's no other cuisine in the world that connects people at the meal level and then connects people through the professional level, barbecue competition, etc. Just that type of camaraderie and community. So man, thanks for coming out
Yeah.
to Barbecue
Goodbye.
Smokerside Chat.
No.
First injury, first episode. So hopefully that streak ends after
Just
episode
use
1.
lotions. That's
Use
the only
lotions.
thing.
Cheers, brother.
Yes,
It's
sir.
great having you, Blake.
Thank you.
Awesome, man.
Thank you.